All right, guys, welcome to today's segment of, the CEO's Networks podcast. Today, we're really going to be going over gratitude as well as, is it really the cure to anything, right? Is it the cure to, stress, anxiety, and depression, right? And the main reason that we bring this topic to you guys today is because, look, to be honest, you look at most Americans, right? Nobody's grateful for anything, right? People will have a place to sleep, a place to, do whatever, to eat, whatever, but they're not grateful for it, right? They still find a reason to complain, right? So to add a twist to that, actually, let's introduce ourselves. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, let's introduce the team. This is the Circle of Winners, right? My name is John Franco. I am, what am I? That's a great question. I am an investor, software creator, and I'm a host to a winning circle that it's willing to learn and strive with what's ahead of us when it comes to technology, investments, and opportunities. So I'm here for that, and we have Sam, or co-host.
My name's Salem B. Pugel, and I am a nobody. What does that mean? It's pretty much, there's no real reason why you should be listening to me. To be honest, if you're listening to me and you're following me and you're like, wow, that guy's amazing, you're kind of a homo if you really think about it. At the end of the day, you should just listen to what I have to say because I'm going to be honest, completely honest. And what I feel, I'm going to say, and it is what it is.
That's
look at my heart. Don't think about what I'm saying. Just think about my intention in the way that I'm saying the things. Also, I'm a comedian for legal purposes.
Bro, have anybody told you before you look like Antifla?
Antifa?
Cantifla.
Cantinfla. Cantinfla. No.
Yeah. We'll put a reel for you together for this.
No, Cantinfla. Yeah, Cantinfla.
And last but not least, my name is Duno Clenor, and I'm a business strategist and podcast host. So let's get it going, guys. So, that main topic, right, that I kind of brought up, how most Americans are grateful. Why do you think most Americans are grateful, right, compared to, let's say, immigrants that come to this country that are willing to risk it in order to make it, compared to, let's say the ones that are born here that are always complaining about the country?
Well, I'm tired of people telling me what I should be grateful for. That's one thing. And I mean that in a very humble way. And the way that I mean that in a humble way is like, if I wake up in the morning, right, and I have a good breakfast, and I'm like, wow, this breakfast was amazing. I'm grateful for this breakfast. Don't tell me, oh, you're satisfied with that breakfast? I wouldn't be satisfied if I hadn't had no. Let me be grateful for the things that I'm grateful for. And don't put down the things that I'm grateful for just because you're not grateful for your things. Maybe like one day I wake up and I have a beautiful meal in front of me and I'm grateful for it. But you're not because you're used to something better or worse or whatever. Leave me alone. Don't intrude in my thought and saying, hey, you should be, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. And listen, I personally feel that people are definitely not grateful. They're ungrateful. If there's any statement that I got to make, right? Like if you think about it, most people use drugs, drink alcohol, and find ways of escaping reality. Therefore, they're not really happy with their lives.
Why do you think they're trying to escape? What are they running from?
Well, suffering, mental stress.
The absence of God and the misery within their hearts.
That's one, but also, a mental stress. We're speaking about, people living a miserable life financially. That happens to a lot of people out there. There are people traumatized from events that happen in their life. We go through trauma every single day, right?
Yeah.
So
some traumas, they really mark your life.
So why do you think some of us, right, we have these traumatic events and we still push on while other people tend to not be able to push on?
The spirit that's within us.
Yeah.
We have the spirit of God within us, which is an unrelenting spirit, as in like whatever. There's two types of things, right? There's the unmovable force. No, I'm so sorry. There's the unstoppable force and the unmovable object. In this life, you have to pick which one are you. Are you the unstoppable force or are you the unmovable object? Now, the real question is when it comes to struggling and gratitude, when an unstoppable force meets an unmovable object, what happens? A fight. You understand? So when you get into a fight, you have to understand that there is an unstoppable force in front of you and you are an unmovable object or reverse. And you either have to change or it has to change in order for any progression, for there to be any progression in whatever you're doing. So you have to look within yourself and you have to ask yourself, am I going to change for this or I'm going to make this change for me?
Honestly, I think, in my opinion, I think all of this starts from when we're kids.
Yeah.
Right? Nowadays, you look at most kids, right? Compared to how I was raised, at least, right? Yeah. I wasn't born here. And nowadays, you see so many participation trophies, right, being given out for absolutely nothing, right? there's no more losing in a, let's say, in a kid's soccer game. I think some parents are trying to remove winners and losers.
Yeah.
So when you remove winners and losers, everybody thinks they deserve a trophy for absolutely nothing. And when they
If you're
realize
not first,
exactly you're
you're
last.
last.
And when reality hits them at the age
there's
of
many losers,
you know
but there's
high
only
school,
one.
high school, college, right? When they actually start to lose, or when that kid tries to go and talk to that girl and she rejects him, and it's like, yo,
Yeah.
What was the scariest a
like,
girl
we-
ever had you?
we
like
are-
going up to a girl. What was the scariest I've ever had you where you were like shook? Like, oh my god, I'm so afraid to talk to this girl.
to be honest, I don't think I've ever had that.
You never had that.
Not really. Like
Wow.
I'll
if
tell
I'm
you.
talking to her, I'm not gonna like the moment I start talking, everything disappears.
I've had moments where I was shook. Like
While
when I
you're
was
talking
younger,
to them?
no, just the idea of going up to her and just breathing next to her.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was like,
Bro, before I learned how to speak to girls, I was definitely that guy.
yeah, I was definitely that guy too, bro.
99% of the girls that I saw that were hot, and I
I
never
thought they were
spoke
so
to
much
them.
smarter than me, so
Yeah.
much like better than me. Like I was just a
Listen,
fumbling idiot next to these girls.
I didn't really grow into a man body until I was like 16, 17. But I was also
Late bloomer. That's what you're saying.
yeah, I was one of those. And then funny thing is, my age group, not my age group, my class group, they're usually 2 to 3 years older than me.
Mm.
So I was like
Mature.
the shortest, the skinniest, the one with the least knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And then I used to see these girls with big boobs and ass, and I'm like, damn. And I could never speak to them. I never had a girlfriend
Yeah.
through high school
Wow.
until like senior year, bro. So, you know, it's one of those things. And again, that was traumatized.
Yeah.
So I came with vengeance. Right?
Yeah, you came back with it. You got
a lot of it. Right?
Nah,
So-
man,
This is- you're making up for the years.
yeah.
dude,
Oh, yeah.
I actually had the opposite effect, right? So when I first came to the U.S., they put me back by 2 years, right? Like I went to third grade for like 3 days, and they were like, "Oh, you're too young." Because in Haiti, I started school like really early.
Yeah.
So when I came here, I was a 7-year-old in third grade, and they said, "Oh no, you're too young," and I couldn't speak English, so they put me back 2 years. So I was always
You were too
one of-
dark for them. That's it.
Or maybe he was the right shade.
Yeah.
I was always one of the oldest in my class, right?
Yeah.
So
So you
Let's say-
graduated at 21?
no. So let's say my graduating class, I was 19, but most people are like 17 or
Yeah,
18 when
yeah.
they're graduating, right? So, but I don't want to say for me when it came to, let's say, speaking to girls, I wasn't afraid because I would always be the guy that's just, I'm always ready to make
Yeah.
a joke. I'm always ready to say something
Yeah.
funny, right? Because I mean, I didn't care. So it's like I grew up around that. You know what I mean? Just making people laugh, right? That's what I saw from my dad. He always made people laugh. So I was like,
That's the way
damn,
of going.
that's normal, right?
Yeah.
Like you adopt that from your parents,
Yeah.
and you start to behave that way.
For sure.
You know?
You want to be fun.
Exactly.
Fun and spicy.
For me, right? Every
Salt
single
Bae.
piece that I got, I want to say, before age 22 or 23, everything before then, right? I fumbled into. Like it was just like a sloppy disorder of just like the girl was there. It was just like available. Like I remember being so frustrated as a kid, like as a teenager, was saying, "Why is this so difficult? Why is this so difficult?
To
Why?"
speak to a girl?
Not only just to speak to a girl, to get a girl to do what I want her to do. Like just to
Bruh.
set up a date, go out with her. Like, wow, I just remember the grind. Like I was like, why is this so difficult? Why is this so difficult? And then I would try to like look at these fucking corny ass like fucking pickup artists that were like you remember that era of the internet
Yeah.
where there was like a group of like pickup artists and like this is how you get the girl. This is how you
Yeah.
get a,
Bullshit.
all complete bullshit. All complete bullshit.
Yeah.
But like in bullshit, there is some truth
Always.
to the bullshit, right? Where it's like you want to like in the animal kingdom, like it's very funny how like the animals will display things in order to get the other female's attention. Like maybe they'll like build like a nest, or maybe they'll move crazy, or maybe they'll do
Yeah.
something. Like you gotta at the end of the day, there's a universal law that it comes to these women is like entertain them. Like
Yeah.
you have to be some form of entertaining to them. And what these pickup artists were trying to do is like literally like are putting on like a show for this girl. Because in the girl's head, it's a movie by her, directing her, starring her, written by her, and we just are all props in her head.
Do you imagine the fact of just thinking that women are the reason why men are so ungrateful, and the United States is ungrateful for everything that we have. Do
You
you,
think the
imagine
men-
that the root to that is actually women?
You
I
said
could
the
see
men
it.
are
I could
ungrateful
definitely
or the
see it.
women are
Everybody.
ungrateful?
Everybody,
see it.
but women start the pattern, right?
Yeah, no, I
Like,
could definitely see it 100%.
you know, imagine working 10 hours a day, going to your house, and then your wife is there just waiting to argue. I mean, like, God damn, you're making that man's life miserable.
And then they get surprised one day he's no longer around. Like the other day, right? Like I pick up my girl. Very funny.
Don't speak about your girl like that. She's gonna see this video. Be
I
careful.
know. And, you know, I love her very much. But like this is just something that I found like and like that was just funny.
Yeah.
So I'm leaving my friend. Like it's my group of my friends. We're all having fun. I mean, like it's a blast. You know, like I don't drink, but like they're drinking beers and stuff, and like we're smoking weed. Like it's a great time, right? My girl calls me, hey, it's time. You know, you said we're gonna hang out. You know, nagging me like, you know, I want to hang out. I was like, okay. It's time to go pick up my girl and be with my girl, right? I pick her up, and for like an hour and 30 minutes to go to what we were gonna go do, the whole hour and 30 minutes, just nagging me, just like completely nagging me.
Damn.
And at
Imagine.
one point, I go, "Do you think I left my friends, right? Like, do you think I left the comfort and invitingness of my friends to get in a car and nag with you for an hour?
Oh my
Do you
God.
think no? I obviously love you. That's the reason why I'm
How
here.
can you be grateful for that day when, you know, let's say that happens to you? Is there a way to be grateful
Yes,
for?
absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Explain that to me. What do you think?
The fact that you got a girl is like, okay, I'm grateful that I at least have a girl, because there's a lot of dudes going tonight with nothing. You know what I mean? Like just literally like they yo, bro, like the technology that's coming nowadays, they're gonna buy like the sex doll industry is just gonna get better and better and better and better and better, and they're not even gonna be talking to real girls anymore, man.
And that's
But that's why so many people are depressed, because there's no more genuine human interaction, right? Most people are so afraid to talk to each other nowadays because they're so, especially with what COVID recently, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was stuck inside the home. Some people got comfortable with that, right? And now they started to just make friends online.
Yeah.
But when it comes to actually going out there to talk to someone, or even saying, bro, people can't even hold eye contact when you're walking down the street.
No, like I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like this is so funny how so when I was a kid, like I was a really impressionable kid. So like I would look at a movie like James Bond, a movie like, okay, you got to be James Bond, but I'm a kid, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't work for a kid versus like a 45-year-old man.
100%.
So when I was growing up, people would be like, listen, when a man, he makes eye contact with somebody and he does, he shakes his hand firmly and everything like that. So when I was a kid, like you don't know me, right? And I'm thinking in my head like, okay, be a man. Like I would grab people by the hand and like and I would have problems.
you
with
look
people.
like that weird kid that always did weird things like that.
I would have problems everywhere I would go because people would be like, yo, who the fuck does this kid think he is?
You know,
but I didn't put it in my head that, the first impressions, very important.
Yeah.
Like the way that you first interact with somebody, the way that you first talk with somebody.
Let's go into that.
Goes into everything.
but look, I have a 2-year-old daughter, and obviously I see how the pattern of being ungrateful starts when you're a kid, right? Like, so sometimes we're having dinner or we're eating, whatever the case, and I see that she's trying to pick whatever she wants to eat. So she's
here we go.
very picky, right? And
Here
I'm
we go,
like,
yeah.
no. Listen, you gotta eat whatever we put on the plate.
Eat everything
Simply because there are kids starving in Africa and in other
Just
countries
not
of
in
the-
Africa, Franco. There's kids starving everywhere. Just
but I
not
was
in
just
fucking
gonna say that,
Africa.
right? Like,
There's
everywhere
kids
in the
starving,
world.
kids,
Everywhere in the
comma,
world.
There
in
are
Africa.
there are kids starving
All
for
over the
weeks
world.
and days,
Yes,
right? Like,
yeah.
so I'm like, be grateful that there is food for you every single day.
Yeah.
And I'm implanting that personality.
And what does
in
your
her.
daughter say?
Well,
She
she
said,
eats
"Fuck
the
that
food."
shit, right?
No, she's like, eat more, like, and she'll eat more, But essentially, what happens is, the pattern of being ungrateful starts when you're a kid. It starts with
Absolutely.
your parents,
Absolutely.
right? Like, it starts
Does it
with.
piss you off if a girl's a picky eater?
It doesn't really pick me.
Like if she
bother
orders
me.
something, but like from the thing that she orders, she takes out like 3 or 4 things from it.
No, well, I'll leave her right there and then.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Wow,
Wait,
that's a
wait.
huge
Say that
re-
again.
picky-
Wait. Say that
a girl
again.
that's a picky eater.
Right.
So like you go first time you sit
taking
down
her
with a
out.
girl,
Mhm.
she orders some shit, like maybe she orders like fucking duck, but she's like remove this.
Oh. I
Well-
can't stand that.
No,
But I've never
no,
encountered
but
that.
he said he'll leave her. That's
No,
like
no,
it's,
she's done.
she's dead.
You're speaking about a girl that orders a plate and then she's trying to take things out of the plate.
or she orders it and then takes stuff out from the stuff.
No, that's okay. But if she orders it and it gets to the table and she starts doing that, Why
That-
the
yeah,
fuck
yeah,
do you
yeah.
order that?
Yeah.
What about a girl that orders things but never eats it all?
Well, that's done deal. Out of
Really?
the table for me. Yeah.
What do you
Like,
mean orders things?
Like
but
she'll
doesn't
order
eat it?
whatever. Like she's a girl, normal girl, no
Right,
red
right,
flags,
right, right, right.
perfectly fine. You sit down. Just notice every single time you go eat, no matter what it is, she never finishes her food.
Yeah.
She'll take like bites and then just that's it, leave food behind.
Oh, like a bite or two?
yeah, and then she'll leave like the food and throw it out and shit.
Nah,
Nah,
that's
like,
not. I don't
I'm a-
tolerate stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Like I'm
That's
a pick,
being
I'm
ungrateful
a
in
picky
your guys'
eater.
eyes?
That's very ungrateful.
Yeah,
you
that's
gotta eat
100 'cause
everything, bro. You gotta eat.
I don't want to
everything.
say eat everything, right? Because I don't want to say I eat everything, right? Let's say I go to a restaurant. If I can't decide on what to eat, I'll probably just get, all right, let me get this and this,
Yeah.
and then I'll eat my food, right?
Yeah.
Because that's one thing
What's
for
like
me.
some sus
But
meals for you?
There's no sus. What do you mean sus meals?
Like somebody that orders a meal that's sus.
Huh?
Like suspect, you know what I mean? Like sus, little
You have,
little on the gay scale, little on the gay
You have
side.
something on your beard.
You got a lint right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No, you
that's-
gotta go like this.
Uh,
Like a wise man, yeah.
That's
Why-
on
why- why
camera.
question. What's like a sus meal?
You give an example.
Like, you know, if your boy orders like 3 hot dogs.
That's not.
That's-
Bro,
that-
if you're hungry for some hot dogs, bro,
Depends how
eat
you-
those
3
hot
hot
dogs.
dogs?
Yeah.
That's how you depends how you eat it. You're
Yeah.
gonna be sus. Right?
So the eating of the food is more sus than the ordering of the food.
Yeah.
Oh,
of course.
always. It's how
Bro.
it's how you eat. If you
So
order
you
a
break
steak,
a banana and then
no,
eat
no,
the
no.
piece, or
If
you
you
just put
order
the
a
whole
steak,
banana?
right? Let's say if a girl orders a steak and she starts eating that steak with her bare hands, come on, right? Like,
Yeah.
and we're in a fancy restaurant, I'm gonna be
That
like,
might turn me on.
I'm not.
I'll be like, damn, yo.
Okay, okay, so
this
on-
bitch
all right,
about
all
it.
right.
She gonna survive.
On that same topic of first impressions, because that's the
Yeah.
first impression on that dinner, right?
Yeah.
So one thing I've always, I got this from my dad, right? He's like, always do your best at whatever you do, right? Whatever you're doing,
Try to do
because
the
I got
best,
this from
absolutely.
roofing. Because sometimes when I would be on the roof, I'd act lazy, right? And he'll be
Yeah.
like, "Yo, you see how everybody else is behaving? Don't behave like them, right?
Yeah,
Always
absolutely.
give maximum effort, no matter what you're
Yeah.
doing,
Be the best
right?"
that you can
And that's kind of something I've taken into literally everything I'm doing, whatever it is, small, large, like even how I dress, right? No matter where I'm going,
be. Yeah.
if I feel like I'm underdressed, I don't want to talk to anyone because in my head I'm like, shit, like
You can always be overdressed, never underdressed.
exactly,
As
right?
in, like you're
So-
overdressed, you just take off the blazer. Now you're casual. You take off the
exactly,
shirt. Yeah.
exactly. So on that same topic, right? Like I always want my first impression with anybody to be the best as possible because
Absolutely.
I think I got this from JT Fox, right? He says you never know when the next opportunity is gonna come,
Right.
when the next all it takes is for one person to say yes.
Absolutely.
That
So-
had happened to me before.
Exactly.
multiple
So
times.
imagine your first impression with that person that could have given you an amazing opportunity is terrible. Whether like
You could actively block your blessings for
yeah,
sure.
exactly. So
Yeah.
one of these things, right? Let's say a handshake. If I shake somebody's hand and it's just like a wet noodle, bro, I don't.
That's a
I'm
weak ass
really,
man.
Bro,
I'm really
I don't
into
even wanna
handshakes. Like when I found
That-
out the truth or the truth
Bro.
of origins behind handshakes, why have you have handshakes? Like
it's power. It's
yeah,
power.
Yeah, like the
it's a
Masonic,
sign of
like, freaking
respect,
Shadow Wizard Money Gang reason
Yeah.
why?
bro. It's a sign of respect. It's a sign of this is a person who actually does
You
some
can gauge
type of
someone's
labor
energy
It-
just
you-
from a handshake. Where they're
exactly.
at, where they feel about,
So-
like everything.
exactly.
How
So
confident.
Yes, everything.
Mhm.
All
So-
that stuff.
on that same topic of first impressions, what's the worst first impression you ever had?
The worst first impression.
Whether
I
it's
gotta be
you-
honest, and this is sad, but it's like it shows that how shallow I am. I
Whether
don't
it's
give a
you
fuck.
or another person, any of them.
Bro, bad breath. Like
Oh yeah.
you could be selling me the fucking cure to my poison. You understand? I could be dying, right? And you'll be like, "Yo, take the antidote." And if your breath is rocking, bro, I'll be like, "Damn." Bad breath. And you know, the
With a
sad thing
girl?
is, dude, anybody,
Anybody, bro.
anybody, dog, anybody.
No,
anybody,
I'm saying
anybody.
you've had that with a girl.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah. And you know what's the saddest
Well,
part?
haven't we have with a girl?
The,
right? Like,
the, the smell of the bad breath like retains to her face. So every time I would think about her face, I would think about the bad breath, and it was absolutely deaded for me. It was like I'm out, like Shark Tank. I'm out. I'm out. Bad breath, man.
But like when it comes to everything we're speaking about, right? Like the main reason a lot of people are ungrateful throughout their whole life is simply because they have so many different options that they don't know what to really choose,
Yeah.
right? And then they think it's normal to easily move on to the next thing, and they never really get to enjoy the real benefit of whatever they have in
Absolutely.
hand, right? That's
100%.
really the reason why the United States, out of all countries, I think is the most ungrateful. We have the best economy. We have the best ecosystem for jobs and everything.
No,
else.
I think honestly the most ungrateful country is Canada.
Oh, maybe.
I
You
think
might
they're the most
you might-
ungrateful.
But the U.S. is definitely on
Number
yeah.
two,
right?
number
Like,
two.
It has to be up there, right? Because we do have everything in place to run all type of economies. poor people, middle class, rich people. I mean, you have opportunities, right? And you might have gold in hand, but you don't value that gold. You want to find a diamond.
Dude,
and then after the diamond, you want to find a skyrocket.
You always want better.
Yeah, you always want better, and it's never like, everything I'm doing is good, and I got to thank God for that. And most importantly, I think people don't understand that every day they wake up, it's a blessing. So they got to thank God for that, because
Life
you don't know
is
if
here to
you're
be
going to wake up
celebrated.
next day, right? So essentially, my point of view in all this is that we have too many options that confuse us, therefore leading to ungrateful people. Like my daughter example, right? She's a picky eater. She wants to do whatever the heck she wants, right? And we have to discipline her to value the things we put on the table for her.
Well, do you think it's done on purpose that people are made this way, right? Like, and when
Absolutely.
I say
Absolutely.
no.
Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
what I mean by this, right? You look at marketing or media companies, right?
Yeah.
The type of stuff they're putting in front of us on a regular basis, right? Especially, and I think this impacts women a lot more than men, right? Because I want to say as guys, we're more disagreeable, right? I don't want to buy that. I don't need that, right?
I think you're saying we're more logical.
That too, right?
Yeah.
So you look at girls, right? Let's say a little girl, she starts seeing other women, right? Like on TV, and she sees how they look. She's like, oh, I want that. But then she gets it, and then she sees another commercial that says, no, you don't need that. You need this one.
Right.
And she sees another commercial. Nope, not that one. You need
You know
this
what's the
one.
most intimidating thing for a woman? For other women? Because I always wonder, like, I understand, like, from the physical aspect, like when a woman sits next to a man and then she sees the man's like physical nature, she's like, oh, this guy could like grab me and do whatever. Like, okay, I understand that. But like, what would make another woman be intimidated by another woman? And you know what it is? True self-confidence.
Always.
When they're with a woman
that looks better,
that has true self-confidence.
That
Like she knows what she's talking about. She understands what she's talking about. There's very, very few in the hand. They completely go like, oh my God, like, because they're so insecure about themselves. Partly because of their own self-nature and partly because of society.
of course.
I'm gonna tell you a few things that I learned throughout my 28 years of life, and one of those things is that the people that you see that go out and they're the most refined and picky and everything else, those are the people that have the biggest traumas in life. And woman, when you look at a beautiful woman that you're like, oh my God, that girl is so beautiful, right? That girl, most likely, to a certain degree, she has a lack of self-confidence.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
Bro, like, that shit is crazy. Like, and I'm like, yo, but you're one of the most beautiful girls that I've seen or been with, right?
If she doesn't
and
believe
there's
it, who
so low confidence, bro. It's insane.
Especially,
So,
like,
Franco, you seen a girl went up to her and been like, you shouldn't be doing this. That's what you're saying?
Nah, like think about that. That's a strong point. Like most of the time, right? Every guy sees that beautiful woman.
Right.
In your head, if depending on the guy that you are, but I've heard most guys they'll be like, oh, she probably has a man, or she's probably gonna reject.
They already set themselves out.
She's gonna
Most
reject
guys
me.
are like that.
Yeah,
actually.
she's gonna reject me.
And
She's too good.
And some guys, like, when I used to go to the clubs, like, heavily, I used to see that there was a pattern with the guys having to buy tables full of bottles for them to feel that
They're confident.
they're
right?
I was that
attractive.
guy.
And
I was that guy.
I don't know if you're that guy or not. All I'm saying is, if you're that guy, you have to definitely work on your confidence level.
Absolutely.
Because bottles don't
Absolutely.
buy you girls.
No.
Plain and simple.
No.
Like, if you gotta use money to buy girls,
You're attracting the wrong
you're
ones.
Absolutely.
No, you're not only that,
But
you're
it works.
attracting the worst
It works.
girl
Like, if you're-
ever, but you really have no girls. You really have no confidence to really get to the right girl that's gonna stay with you in the long term.
So how do
don't
you
have
think they
that.
can build their confidence?
Well, it's funny with me. I used to be that guy when I was making like $150,000 a year. Like if there wasn't in bottles, I wouldn't go out. Like, what do I look like? Look, taking a fucking drink by the bar like a bozo. I need my real estate. I need to sit down and be comfortable, right? And the thing that I noticed is that if you're a loser with a bottle, then you're just a loser with a bottle.
Right.
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a rich dork.
What a rich dork. You're still a fucking dork, right?
Dorks.
But when I was in that environment where I saw like the fruits of my labor, like I worked hard at the freaking dealership, I had the money, I went, I spent it. Now I'm like, I felt like a king on my throne. Here are my bottles. Here's the women. I felt like who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And when I was in that environment, the women would, like go like they'd be fucking with your boy. They'd be like, they'd be on the wave and shit. So I'm like, okay, how do I transition the feeling that I get from having these bottles, having the fruits of my labor, to eating the fruit every single day. I feel like this in the corner store. I feel like this in the place. And the only way I was able to do that is through finding Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, which gave me a confidence of another world, which is faith, being able to see things without seeing them.
All right.
Like, I would have a vision of who I would want to be. And I would be like, if I am that person now, how would that person act? How would that person talk? What would that person do? What would that person go? Then I just got to start doing those things.
And yeah, and look, to attest to that even further, you know, having God, it's extremely important in anybody's life, right? Like, so that you can be sane and you can move forward in life the right way. But I believe there is a lot of lack of self-esteem in people simply because they care too much about other people's opinion.
Yeah.
Right?
They're always
like,
comparing
like,
themselves.
like there's a saying that when you actually listen to people, you don't have a personality,
Yeah.
right? Therefore, you don't know which way to move
You're
as
trying
a
to
person.
please everyone.
You want to please everybody. And when you understand that you got to learn how to say no more, that's when you build that strong personality that gives you the confidence, and not caring, not giving a fuck about other people's opinion is gonna take you far.
Because
I
yes
mean,
is a force.
wealthy people in general, right? Like rich people, super billionaires, all these people. Do they think they care about the millions of people that criticize them? Do you think Jeff Bezos
It's just a
doesn't
number
get-
at this point.
Look, Jeff
just a
Bezos.
number.
Anybody you put on the table right now has positive and negative criticism.
No one's
right?
perfect.
They don't ever have 100% positive
Only Jesus.
criticism, right? Like, so the point of all this is that people need to understand that they got to build that strong personality and not care about every single person that wants to
But
give
they
an
need a
opinion on
foundation
them.
to do that.
Yeah, the
And
foundation,
the foundation
starts.
is usually trauma.
It's trauma.
Going over struggles,
Yeah.
going over traumas.
So basically, it's go out there and do something.
Fail.
Go out
lose.
there. Go out
lose
there
100 times
and
so you can win that one time.
Go out there and challenge yourself. You know?
The thing, you know, when we started this whole, you know, sequence of what really creates this mentality, we spoke about how people don't understand what is to lose anymore. There's a first place, second place, 30th
Everybody thinks
place,
they
right?
should
Like
win.
Everybody thinks they should win, right? So what happens is,
As
when-
they should. If you think about it, you should think you should win.
Yeah, so the reason why there's a lack of, you know, self-esteem and a lack of, let's say, acknowledgement when it comes to the beautiful life that we get to live, right? When people start losing, they don't know how to properly think, right? But losing,
Can't process it.
losing is part of the process to growth and evolve into a better human.
Yeah.
God will never put an obstacle that you cannot actually overcome.
If you can't
right?
overcome it, you just die.
Yeah, and
You just be pulled the plug.
right.
That's it.
And it comes to, you know, it comes down
so
to
if you're alive, that means you can survive.
And look, like I said, and I say it all the time, right? Lack of discipline, lack of
Trust in
understanding,
trust
and
in
trust in yourself is always gonna lead you to the wrong decisions.
Yeah.
And when you start taking one bad decision and then the other one and so on and so on, it becomes a pattern
Yeah.
of failure. And now when you feel that you're a failure, what happens?
Do you remember when a girl looked at you and realized you weren't that guy?
I don't think that ever happened to me.
You know, that never
What do you
happened.
mean? What do you mean?
Like I've been with girls before that, like they thought I was a certain way,
Uh-huh.
and then they got to know me, and they're like, "Oh, you."
Oh, yeah,
so
that
you
happens.
put
That happens
so
a
you
lot
put-
to me.
So you put on a persona then.
Listen, look, the way listen,
I
the
mean,
way-
he has like 20 personalities, so I don't even know.
This
Like,
is
you know.
this is master game now. This is like
Right.
black belt, like high level shit, right?
Right.
And this is not rookie. Like this is a spinning fucking back kick, like flying over top. Like
Yeah.
don't try this. Like don't have no game. And then go out there and fucking try this, and then it fucking turns out horribly for you, and you're like fucking Salem's fucking okay. No, none of that. This is what it is. In her mind, she has a movie playing.
Yeah.
This movie changes daily. It's the daily movie of the life, right?
Yeah.
A girl wakes up. It's raining outside, right? This is how they think. You have to understand this. It's raining outside, and I'm like a detective. I mean, you know, like
Female
she's gonna wear
psychology.
like a trench coat. She's gonna wear like
Yeah.
rain boots, and like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get this lunch, and I'm gonna get this because it's a movie playing in her mind, right?
Every day.
You gotta figure out what movie is playing in her mind that day, right? And when you find out the movie that is playing in her mind, you play your role.
Yeah.
You be you, but as a cowboy. You're not now I'm a cowboy now. I love everything
Right.
about cowboys. No. You as a cowboy. Because in her mind, she's a rancher. It's a sunny day outside. She's wearing like some jean shorts.
Yeah.
She got a top on. Oh my God, I'm a rancher. I want my cowboy. You come in as you as a cowboy. You don't come in, oh no, I love cowboy gear and stuff. She's gonna know you're a phony. She's a fake.
Yeah.
You gotta find your role in her mind and play that role as yourself. So this is a high level move because not only do you have to look at what she's thinking, you have to look at how you behave, and you have to pick up what she wants to see.
Yeah.
So there's 3 working parts. That's why this is like black belt level. This is not like one level pickup move where you go up to her, say this, and you get the number. It's not like that.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people think everything in life should be this to this, right?
Yeah,
Which
it's
is exactly why they don't understand how to properly take a loss.
Yeah.
Right. Even in, let's say, in the sports industry, right?
Yeah.
I was recently listening to and really watching this podcast of Patrick Bet-David and Tom Brady, right? It shows you that there's not that many killers in the game,
No,
right?
it's not.
In every industry, there's killers, right? The people that are at the top, they're
Are there
not
for a reason.
you see a nice face, but they're a cold killer when it comes to
Absolutely.
actually getting to
They
what
just
they
happen to
want.
find a sport.
Exactly, right? So what I'm saying with all this is there's very, very few killers, right? And
Yeah.
the main reason is people are easily bought, right?
Yeah.
Or when they take a
They don't
loss,
stand for nothing.
when they take a loss in something, because they don't know how to lose,
Yeah.
they're
It
ready
devastates
to
them.
You'll see, bro, a guy will lose a girl and his career would have been up here. His career
Yeah.
drops to the bottom. Or
Yeah.
let's say he really wanted this deal. He loses the deal, he
And that's
drops to
it.
the bottom.
Yeah.
Right? Because most people nowadays, right? Again, we're
Yeah.
talking back to not knowing how to take L's.
Right.
We're going back to where they think they deserve everything.
Right.
How
Right?
do you take an L, bend it into a W?
You do it.
Well, you know how it happens, and this is big. I mean, if you're in business, if you're in any industry, anything that you do, right? If you learn how to pivot, you're always gonna win.
Absolutely.
Why? Because people only lose when they
Quit.
set their minds in one single spot or objective, right?
Sometimes you have to unlearn
And
to
you
learn.
have to unlearn to learn and
That's so true.
pivot, right?
Yeah.
So when you pivot, you make adjustments to overcome your challenges. And when you do that fast and you do it like for life, this is the way you live, you're able to accomplish a lot more. And that's when you stop feeling like you're a failure.
Yeah.
Right? This is when you stop thinking of yourself as, I'm a loser.
Yeah.
This is when you stop having that lack of self-esteem. I mean, the only advice that I can give people out there is to really learn how to pivot. Because when you lose or you claim you lose or you took the L,
Yeah.
it's a learning experience.
Yeah.
And the more you lose early on in your life, right, the more likely you're going to succeed later on.
Later.
in
But
life,
Exactly.
right?
if you
It's
don't give
wisdom.
up,
Right.
And that's
if
the
you
thing.
give up,
Wisdom.
then that's
Yeah.
it. You're gonna lose forever. You're
Yeah.
a loser. It's not how you start.
It's how you end.
It's how you end.
It's how you finish, right?
That's really
Like,
everything.
you can I think start at the bottom.
Yeah.
And
Don't end there.
I don't know the quote, but you finish unforgettable, finish
Yeah.
grateful,
Right.
right? And I think, we're definitely running out of time. I think we're coming into the time. Look, this whole segment is really, yes, we were talking
Stop
about
being
being
ungrateful.
grateful. We're talking about not being grateful. We're talking about, self-confidence. All that comes into play when it comes to being the
Yeah.
person that you want to be, right? If you're never grateful for anything, you're not really
And
gonna.
you probably don't
you're
have
never
people
gonna be
around you that
satisfied.
love you. You probably don't have people like friends
Probably.
and family.
But look-
You're probably in a pit of negativity if you're not grateful.
But
for everything.
if you're that person,
Yeah.
right, change your circle. Find new friends.
And
Maybe
that's
you
the
don't
thing.
wanna
Get
change
into
your
A lot of
positive
people, that's the
environments,
thing. A lot of people are extremely afraid of leaving that friend group.
For
Of
what?
leaving that bad friend group.
For what?
But that's the thing.
For what?
Because they're afraid, I don't know how to meet new
Rejection,
Yeah.
all
people.
that stuff,
all that
right.
stuff, man.
I'll tell you what it is. They're afraid of finding the truth.
Yeah. People are afraid of truth.
You got to look inside of yourself and ask yourself, why do I have 0 drip and 0 hose? Ask yourself.
Well, that's the thing, right? The truth is uncomfortable and it hurts. Most people are
Right.
afraid of the truth because,
Yeah.
damn, maybe those friends are not good for you.
No, they're
maybe
not.
that girl isn't good for you.
She's not.
Maybe, maybe these people are holding you back from
Yeah.
being the person that you actually want to be. So
Absolutely.
if you're afraid to get into, I think there's a quote that says, if you're afraid to leave something or to let go of something, you can never make true changes. You can never
Change
change someone else. You can never
Where
change
there's
the world
fear,
or
there's
something
no
like
faith.
that.
And not only that, look, I think people get set heavily on their personalities and mindsets to a point that they don't see opportunity when there's opportunity around them.
Exactly.
Right? Like, so opportunities are always available, no matter your situation. right?
Yep.
There are small opportunities, big opportunities. There are levels of success, right?
How can you get a horse to drink?
That's why you can't. The horse wants to want to drink.
Well, that's the
Right?
thing, right?
That's
That's
the only way.
fair. That's it, bro.
I think
Doesn't matter what we can do.
the quote
This guy has
goes-
a flash drive with $1 million on it, but he can't make you.
I'm a millionaire.
Can't.
Right.
You can only
Unless you
what?
want to do it.
Yep,
Unless
that
you wanna
decision
do
is
it.
up to you.
Yep.
So look, guys, I think I remember the quote. It says, "Those who can't abandon anything can't change anything."
Amen.
Right? And here and now, you need to make that decision to abandon your current lifestyle and actually do something to be better. And one of those ways is subscribing to this podcast, liking it, dropping a comment, whatever it is that makes you feel
We gonna
comfortable,
figure it out with
so
you,
that
man.
you can continue to grow with us, because we're here to grow. We're here for the long run. We're here for the long game, right? Because that's the best way to see
We're here for the long
massive
game.
and massive results. So with that being said, we're gonna have some links down below for you guys to check out. I don't know, Franco, if you have anything else.
The only thing that I want to say is this: if you don't have a terminal disease, if you are eating every single day and you have a roof to sleep every single night, be grateful because there's opportunity ahead of you. Just do what you got to do. Do it the best way possible and succeed slowly in the little thing in the little things that you can attain.
Now, if you really want to find gratuity, I want you to pray to God tonight, right? And tell him, God, what should I be grateful for? And God's going to look at you and be like, boy, I'm going to show you we should be grateful for because it could get a lot worse very quick.
Just start with the small things, right?
Right.
Like, be grateful that you woke up this morning. Be
Yeah.
grateful that you have food to eat, that you have water to drink, that you have somewhere to sleep, right? I mean, I think that's it for this one, guys.
Yep. Until next one.